Art Through Our Eyes, a Low Vision Perspective. This video features Will Daly speaking about the artwork of his mother, Janine Daly.
My mom loved art from a very young age and went to school to become an art teacher. Was an art teacher for a long time until a student came in with chickenpox and she caught it for a second time. She had to have brain surgery and to remove a two golf ball sized portion of her right temporal lobe. And after that, she had mental issues, and no one knows exactly what caused it. But years later, she started getting brain tumors. And the brain tumors uh, affected her optical nerve and the pressure in one of her eyes. So the doctors were so worried about her eye and the pressure in her eye that they took it out. So she got a glass eye. So she had one good eye and one glass eye. And then as the tumor got worse, before it got better, she started getting tunnel vision in her other eye. From what I've gathered from my aunts and uncles and grandparents, she was into art from the very beginning. She loved getting art kits for Christmas and was always doing something, drawing something. And I found all sorts of drawings she had from high school and college and all of her classes there. So I think it was a passion from a very, very, very young age. Then when she had her brain injury, uh, it was what allowed her to keep going. It's what gave her motivation. After her brain injury, my mother wasn't able to speak. She wasn't able to walk. She had to relearn everything. Had to relearn how to walk, talk, use the bathroom, eat. And the thing that calmed her and the thing that she didn't lose throughout all of that was her ability to do art. The Crocuses was um, her best work of art, and that was done in the hospital as she's recovering from her brain surgery. The Crocuses was hand painted. I think there was maybe a little touch up here and there with a brush, but the vast, vast majority of that's hand painted. My personal favorite is a pastel artwork she did. I believe it was in 2008. She did this amazing work of Denali or Mount McKinley in Alaska, with an eagle flying over Wonder Lake. And it's always been my favorite piece of hers. She used all sorts of stuff. When she was in college, she did a lot of watercolors. She did uh, different kinds of materials on copper. She did pottery. She did oils. As she grew older, she started moving away from oils. She didn't like them as much. They weren't as forgiving. And as she was losing her depth and ability to judge depth, it just became much harder for her to use oil. So she switched to pastels and watercolors almost exclusively. I remember some of the things she was most proud of was working with other brain injury survivors, other people who had traumatic brain injuries, to show, hey, okay, you might be struggling with your hands here in physical therapy or your feet or this or that, but your mind in processing artwork works a different way. So you might be able to unlock things that you thought you had lost through the use of art. And she was very, very passionate about that. She did many exhibits, some local, some not so local. I know they had an exhibit down at the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts in Washington D.C. I still have all the little flyers from that, which was pretty amazing. And her work has been shown different places around the country. Um, but yeah, she wherever she could, she loved it. She loved sharing her gift with the world.
For more information about the Sight Center of Northwest Ohio, go to sightcenternwo.org. Art Through Our Eyes, a Low Vision Perspective. This video features artwork and an interview with the artist, Rick Fravor.
So My name is Rick Fravor, and I'm a visually impaired artist, and I've been painting for about 10 years now. The reason for my vision impairment is a tumor that was formed, they think, from when I was born. I still have the scar to show from the tumor surgery, and so when I was 6 years old, they removed it, and they tried to correct it several times with a patch or different corrective. Like, I still wear my corrective lenses. I started with acrylic paints kind of towards the end of my college years. I went to Bowling Green for digital art, and through the base courses, like the base level courses that everybody's required, I kind of found painting, and I didn't really embrace it a ton until later on when I had rediscovered the art supplies that I was required for class. And I was like, well, why not give this a shot? And at the time, I had also rediscovered Bob Ross. It gave me a bit of you can do this kind of thing, because he's always about anybody can paint. I began with acrylics, and I'm still comfortable with it, although I've noticed how fast I have to move because of the drying speeds. I've now found water mixable oils to be friendly for me, and I started out with a $20 set, and now I'm working on my first ever self portrait. But I'm really enjoying doing landscapes in the water mixable oils, which is my subject of choice. Sometimes it's just imagination, like something will just pop into my head, or I'll have a dream and I'll sketch it out, or I'll plan it out and go to town on a canvas. And but most of my stuff's nature inspired. Well, maybe I could speak on some of my digital artwork. I mainly use my iPad nowadays, but I do still have a monitor that is a pen display. Um, I don't use it as much as I used to because Photoshop is expensive when you're not a student. But I've actually used the iPad to illustrate a couple of children's books, and it's really handy because it's so accessible. I can double tap with 3 fingers to zoom. I can pretty much zoom in on the canvas as much as I need. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed doing the digital work, and it's something that doesn't take a whole lot of setup if I need. I've actually planned out paintings on my iPad.
For more information on the Sight Center of Northwest Ohio, visit sightcenternwo.org.
First year that I noticed something was going on was 1980. And I had these off and on, I'd have these flashes over here. And I thought, well, I need a pair of glasses. And this friend of ours who was a doctor said, you need to go and get that checked. And so, anyways, I went and they had me do the field test. And I thought, boy, I'm really doing good. And I missed like over half of them. Sure enough, I had to have a laser surgery that day. That was when I was diagnosed with the ocular histoplasmosis. The first thing that they did with me, as I remember, is mobility training. And I had the most wonderful teacher in the world, Mary. She was so good. She made me really feel confident. I think she has a lot to do with my outlook even to this day. When I turned 50 on my birthday, I went to Massachusetts where my sister was, and I actually moved there. And I started school there, spring break or summer break. And I was just like, bored, didn't know what to do. So I found this big piece of old cardboard and some old house paint, like a half a can, and this old scrungy looking house brush. I'm going to try something. So I took it upstairs and plastic on the floor and stuff. And I just started with the brush, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This could really be fun. The more comfortable I got with it, it really started meaning something to me deeply. And then I started watching Bob Ross on TV. Of course, I'm like way up here to see it. And I was just thrilled at what he could do. Just thrilled. So I started trying doing his stuff. And I think I did pretty good. All of a sudden, a few weeks ago, I couldn't paint like I used to paint. And I said, what am I going to do? The painting above the couch is my last one, and it's layered. All this stuff up here is not, it doesn't come all the way down in the back. I just take off of that and add, and then it's like I have to have a break, a separation, and I did not know what to do here. So I had some extra paint on my brush, so I just started pushing and said, oh, okay. I can make it look like water, and then I can get a little bit of reflection down in here from up there. This is almost all dry painting. It is a medium that Bob Ross uses a lot. I almost always start from the top, and I always want to I don't want my skies looking just straight color. So I'll just start with a color over here and a color over here and here. And then I just start blending. Blending is real important to me. And of course, following, what artists follow. I try not to get my line between sky and earth straight in the middle, but sometimes it happens. And the acrylic, I use acrylic medium, and it's so forgiving. And then I'll just start, okay, so this is about where I want the sky to end. So even though it's up here, it's down here, I'll just start, okay, I'm going to put some trees in the back, way in the back. And this one has water, which I don't always do, but almost all of mine have some kind of water. And then this could be, I don't even know. This could be water, or it could be a meadow, just, grass. And then I bring it down again, and I just start dabbing, Xing, circles, whatever. That's all I do. It's just love, life. If this is a meadow, let's run through it barefooted. That it's got to me, it's got a playful, and then it's got a the sky represents very serene, very mystical. It's very reassuring to me. It makes me feel safe.
Art Through Our Eyes, a Low Vision Perspective. This video features narration and illustrations by the artist Deontay Munn.
Deontay Munn. What inspired me to create art was watching cartoons and anime, video games, and reading comic books and mangas. Those stories that these creators came up with made me want to come up with a story for my characters. Deontay's passion for drawing has been a lifelong journey. He taught himself how to draw by watching instructional videos on YouTube. Through his experimentation, he has cultivated a distinctive artistic style influenced by the dynamic worlds of manga and anime, including Dragon Ball Z, Gravity Rush, One Piece, and even the Bionicle Lego series. Combining traditional sketching with digital coloring, Deontay brings his imaginative creations to life. Over the years, he has developed a diverse roster of original characters. The pieces showcased in this exhibit highlight two of his earliest creations, Sarah and Maya, characters he first brought to life a decade ago. This evolution reflects Deontay's growth as an artist and his enduring commitment to storytelling through art.
For more information about the Sight Center of Northwest Ohio, go to sightcenternwo.org. Art Through Our Eyes, a Low Vision Perspective. This video features an interview and various artwork by the artist. Michael Sager.
I have retinitis pigmentosus, and that means that the rods and cones in my eyes are deteriorating. I have night blindness, color blindness, and macular degeneration. I use a closed circuit television with the camera on it. I use handheld magnifiers, and I use a it's around 300 to 400 watt light. I got the colorblind glasses, and actually those glasses help magnify the colors, so it allows me to see what color I am painting, because I have shade blindness, and that means I similar colors look all the same, but with those glasses it helps change the color perspective to where I can see the individual colors. I am like I call it a third generation artist. My grandmother painted, and my mom painted, and she taught me how to paint. I started probably when I was 10. I started drawing the Peanuts characters and found out they came very easily to me. So then I started on the Disney characters, and then after that I wanted to add color, but I didn't know how to do it. So I asked Mom to show me how to paint. And I've been watching other artists on TV. I would say it was more of a Bob Ross influence, because I love to do nature. I like the more muted colors and not the bright ones. Well, for me, sometimes it's easier for me to see the muted colors than the real super bright ones. I think that's the reason why I use them. Here in Napoleon at the Armory, I had a display of my pictures. The American Frame hosted an event which I participated in, and the Cleveland Sight Center, I entered my paintings in there, and 4 of them became Christmas cards. Our handicap is not so much a handicap anymore because of the aids that help us see what others can't. And it allows us to express our feelings and our emotions about things that happen in everyday life. So I think by allowing us to be aware of people with low vision, it gives us a chance to shine.
For more information on the Sight Center of Northwest Ohio, go to sightcenternwo.org. Art Through Our Eyes, a Low Vision Perspective. This video features an artist talking about his work and examples of his art. Dave Wisniewski.
I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I was junior year of high school, so I was 17, and then in 1987, I noticed I couldn't see so well, and I went to one of these glasses places and had my eyes checked, and they looked in my eyes and they said, "You need to get to a full blown eye doctor. You have some blood on your retina." My retinas were leaking, and I lost my eyesight uh, from what it was, and yeah, and that all happened in 1 month. It's very grainy, and it's like when you turn your television to a station that doesn't fully come in, and it's all pixelated, and you can just make out what things are, but you can't see any detail. So detail is not in my eyesight, and I've been doing art, actually painting these cowboy paintings for about 25 years. I've had my fingers on the pulse of art ever since I was a little kid, with my mom. She was an artist as well, and she taught me a lot. And then later in life, I went to the University of Toledo and got a degree in painting. I have to stand very close to the artwork to create it, and when I get back far enough, sometimes I'll use binoculars or a monocular to look at the work, as maybe a fully sighted person might. I usually start with a canvas that I build myself, from scratch. I cut my own stretcher bars, and I have a roll of canvas, and I use basically old house paint, and then I start layering that on, and then throwing different, things into it. Maybe some texture, and throw some birdseed or coffee grounds in it, and to build up an interesting texture, and then I have to let that dry for a long time, and then I go over it with oil paint. And I think it was senior year of my studies at the university in art class. I did a painting of a cowboy, and I took that painting to a gallery. They said they would hang it, and it sold right away. And then then the gallery owner said, "Well, do you have another one? Do you have another one? And do you have another one? Can you paint another one?" And that's where I am now. I'm fulfilling the want and needs. I don't think anybody else is doing what I'm doing, at least in this area, I suppose.
For more information about the Sight Center of Northwest Ohio, go to sightcenternwo.org.